Hello again, and welcome into How's the Market? I'm Hank Sennott from Mari Sennott Plus Today Real Estate, joined by my wife, Mari Sennott from Mari Sennott Plus Today Real Estate, and our special guest this month, Mr. Todd Machnik, who is not only president of Today Real Estate, but he's also current president of the Cape and Island Board of Directors. Todd, thanks for coming with us.
Thank you very much for having me.
The name of the program, How's the Market? We're realtors, and if there's one question that we get asked all the time, it's how's the market? So that's where we start every month. Mari, Todd, how's the market?
It is actually pretty good. So I have Mashpee August stats and July. So starting with pending sales, we're actually up. It's 23 in August, and it was 19 in July. The closed were down by 2, which is not much, from 15 to 13. Median sales in July, they were 1,025,000, and now they're at 830,000. So to me, and I'm sure to you guys, it's correcting itself. The prices are stabilizing. Inventory of homes stayed the same at 63. Month supply of homes on the market, 4.3 to 4.2, not anything changed there. And then days on market. So last July, it was 52, and this August, it was 78. So we have homes sitting there for a little longer, but again, nothing to worry about. And then new listings are up in August at 27 compared to 24. And this is for single family homes in Mashpee. Condos did about the same. They were 16 pending in July, 11 pending right in August. And the close, it was up by 1. So in July, we had 15 closed. We have 16 closed. The median sales price was $580,000 in July, and it went up to $595,000 in August. So that's great news for condos. The inventory of homes on the market were 52, and they're now in August 43. And the month supply was 4.8 in July, 4.1 in August. Again, it's really a good market. Days on market went up slightly in August, but not by much. They were 62 in July, 69 in August. And new listings, they were 20 new listings in July and only 9 new listings in August. So what that tells me is they're going to sell a lot faster. We'll probably have more pendings coming from.
Okay, and you have the numbers for Cape Black, right?
I do. But before I get there, let me just say, I want to wish you both the best on the launch of this TV show. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
And also, you both shared a nice anniversary the past week. We have today 36 years of marriage, so congratulations.
Thank you.
And what's really nice is that Mari's wedding anniversary matches well with her work anniversary.
Yeah.
So 26 years at Today Real Estate.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hank, 8 years.
8 years.
Yeah. But, to my point, Mari, thank you. You've been a mentor at the company. You helped the culture and everything we do there. And Mr. Hank, you're a big contributor as well.
Thank you.
I know you share all your resources and all that you do. So thank you very much for that.
Okay. And thank you again, because I love Today Real Estate. We're a family. It's a great community to work. And, you put a lot of hours into real estate. So it's important to have that good workplace that you can go to all the time.
Yeah.
So thank you.
And you also sit on the board.
And I sit on the board with Todd. Yep. The director.
So
We've been busy.
right. And that's helpful too for really kind of digging into the numbers and knowing what's going on in the market. It's very helpful to bring that information to our clients, but also I think having everyone in the company understand what's a market, how we can best serve people. So thank you. So fresh Barnstable County numbers. This is through end of August. Year to date, pending sales are down 1.4%. There were 1,917 in 2024 to 1,891 in this year. latest sales are down 6%. That's countywide. However, the median sale price is up 3.6%. So I think a lot of people say, oh, the market, is it slowing? Is our price? I think stabilizing, perhaps. Days on market for the county is up 27%. But if you look at the actual numbers in 2024, it was 44 days on market average, up to 56. So, I mean, we're just talking a couple weeks.
Yeah.
It's not like we're adding months to bringing a home, to pending. And then new listings are down 3.2%. I just pulled the numbers for active single family homes on the market this morning for Barnstable County at 760, which we're still at, I would say, a historical low for single family homes. And the number of active condos on the market at this point is 245. Again, low for what we need in this marketplace. Have a healthy real estate market. I think it's just, we're selling and the ability to replenish is lagging.
Yeah.
So
I agree. Yeah.
One of the things that we hear certainly in talking to people, and I'm sure you've heard as well, is, well, prices are dropping. And they take a look at changes in the amount of money that is being asked for as a drop. That's really not true, is it?
Well, no, I mean, I think, like I said, I think things are stabilizing. Obviously, median prices are up. Interest rates have been directly affecting the market. We had some good news from Cape Cod 5 this morning about where their 30-day rate is.
5.85.
Yeah.
A 30-year.
Or 30-year fix. So, think if a seller, is looking to get the best price and terms, pricing obviously is very important. Location, what the house has to offer. We do have many markets within, the Cape.
Yeah.
There's your year-round market. There's your second home market. And so, I think each town has its own little cosmos, depending on what the housing inventory in that town looks like. The closer you are to the bridge, mid-Cape, closer to maybe the Bay, Nantucket Sound, and then as farther you go out Cape, that market changes too.
Right. And days on market are up as well. So what does that? So what does that mean in terms of someone who's thinking about selling, and they're seeing that, a year ago their neighborhood house sold in 22 days, and now they're looking at 52 days or 60.
So we're actually kind of in a normal market, it's still a seller's market. However, it all depends on price. Price is everything in the real estate market, wouldn't you say? So if you price it too high, it's going to sit for longer. But the average days right now, that's actually a normal days on market. We're just not having the swarms of buyers that we were having back during COVID or even last year or the year before that, because interest rates had gone up, but now they're coming down, and usually that's an indicator of buyers getting ready to buy. When they see those interest rates come down, all of a sudden we get busy again. So I think the days on market might be going down too. The sellers, just be patient. It's a normal transition right now to this market.
And it used to be a long time ago that houses would be listed for 6 months
or a year.
And that is considered normal.
Yeah. So I was actually taking listings at one point in 2008 and signing them up for at least a year because it was going to take that long. It was, it's frustrating for everyone. But so those days are not here again. So the market is healthy, and we are selling. And Todd can explain about what Today Real Estate has been doing for the past all summer, because you mentioned at our meeting this morning about how usually agents kind of sit back and relax during the summer months, and that they're not doing that. They didn't or at least that Today Real Estate didn't do that. So do you want to speak to that?
Sure. I have a tradition for our first sales meeting in September that I always play Sinatra's Summer Wind, my fickle friend. And we've had a strong summer. I did not lose them to the summer wind.
No.
But I think staying on top of what's going on in the market, being able to communicate that to their clients, if it's on the listing side, making adjustments, educating buyers on if they're looking in a specific town, what that market looks like, giving them data, helping educate them so that they can come up with a strategy for their offer. And likewise, if they're negotiating seller, then coming up with a strategy on how we best want to market, how we want to get this sold, who's going to, who's the best audience to reach. So I think there's a lot of that. And then knowing what you have available for technologies and being able to get that message out to whomever your audience is. So I think all that's, very important.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And today real estate isn't the same old Today Real Estate that some people may be familiar with. So you want to talk about how, since you and your brother Craig have taken over the company, how you have significantly expanded the footprint and what that means to people who live here on Cape Cod.
Sure. Yeah. So, it's a nice local story. My parents founded the company in 1985. My brother worked in the mortgage industry and then joined the company. I joined the company in the early 2000s. We worked alongside our parents, had 4 offices on the Cape for many years. Craig and I took over ownership of the company in 2019. And, we recognized that, as a sales organization, we were looking for growth. Agents were looking for more tools, more technology. We had a wonderful rebrand and have, made important adjustments in the market to grow, adopting a lot of technologies. And now, we've grown to about 150 agents. We have an island on the vineyard now. We're in the North Shore in Georgetown. We have agents working remotely in the Boston area. We have an office in Norton, agents in New Hampshire, Maine who work remotely. But through technology, we'll remain very connected. And most recently, we opened up an office in Western Mass in Westfield, servicing Western Mass, Northern Connecticut. So we just have a lot of synergies within the company now. And while we started as a local Cape Cod family, I think it's been very important for Craig and me to keep that same touch point so that everyone feels like, we're part of something special and we're helping one another and grow the company. And then as we grow, continue to provide great service and attention to our clients, right?
And to your agents, which helps the client. So the tools that you give your agents are incredible. I won't get into it because people won't understand what they are, but they help us stay in contact with our clients and everything. So you really do look out for the agents so we can help consumers. Thank you. Yeah. So it's great.
I'm sure there are some people out there, a lot of people think about, someday I'm going to get my real estate license. It looks like fun. I like to watch those shows on HGTV and all of that. But when it really comes down to getting into the business, and you've recruited agents really more or less all across New England now, what are the things that you look for when you're recruiting an agent and you're thinking about hiring someone? It's got to be more than, I like watching HGTV.
Yes, I like homes. It's the best response. But because so many of our agents have come from different backgrounds, had different careers, whether they were teachers, nurses, and the financial industry.
Waitress,
Right? No, exactly.
Yeah.
It's really how well we connect in the first, a lot of times in that first conversation, whether it be on the phone or through a Zoom or having coffee, because you really need to be a strong communicator.
Yeah.
I think you need to be a great listener, because clients are coming to you with whatever their problems, goals, desires, wishes are. And so, you have to borrow Tom Ferry, be able to align with their goals. Right? And if they're reasonable and you can help them out, then let's do this. So, and a lot of, when agents are coming from different industries, it's, it's new. My septic system failed on my listing. What do I need to do? But all those are the kind of the easy fixes.
Yeah.
But it's being able to really relate to the client, listen, identify goals, and then plan to execute so they can help achieve them the goals. So whether it's buying or selling, and because there are a lot of personal stories to this, because it's your largest investment that you have. So it's just really a human element. And so if people can, again, be empathetic, understand, appreciate, and that's what I try to get in the conversation. And then if I'm feeling that we're in sync, then I can see them. I'm starting to picture them sitting down at a kitchen table with a seller or meeting a buyer first time. And we can teach the technology, but it's really having the personal skills and the understanding and compassion to help people.
Okay. Now, when somebody's hired, you're quite often their mentor.
I am their mentor. Yeah.
So
yeah.
What are the things that you find yourself working with new real estate professionals on?
So it all depends. If they're coming to the business new, or if they've been in sales, or if they've done it before, it's kind of different. And everyone is different. We have had people come in and go, "Oh, I love houses," and as soon as I get it, I'm like, "Ugh." And half the time they don't make it. It's not a business for everyone, but it's a great business. But I have mentoring a new agent right now, and she calls me every day and says, "This is the question of the day." So whatever they're going through, I'm there to answer their questions or guide them to who they should talk to about certain things, and or go to Todd. This is a question for Todd. When they first start the first day, I take them around the office, introduce them to people. We show them how our tools of the trade work, me and there's a team, both management. So it's really hands-on for new agents coming into today real estate. We just don't have you sit at the desk and say, "Hey, make some calls and get out there." I train them how to do open houses and, take them on tour or tell them where the tours are, which is like Mashpee tour. So we can go see the houses that are, the inventory that's out there. So they get a better knowledge of what price range some houses in some areas are in. So yeah, it's I love mentoring. It's so great and it makes me a better agent when I mentor. I tell them what to do and I'm like, I'm not doing that. I need to get back doing that. But it's such a people business, like Todd said. And I have met so many of my great friends through real estate.
And really, Todd, being a realtor, while obviously you're looking for people who would be serious about it, the job is really what you make of it. If you're only looking to sell 5 homes because that's your goal, that's okay. Not everybody is going to be a top producer. Not everyone is obligated to be a top producer. As long as they're the 5 that they sell, they do a good job. That's fine with you.
Right. Yeah. I think it goes back to, in that conversation, what are your goals? What were company's goals? And if we're aligned, because you're right, not everyone's like, I want to sell 100 homes. You can do a great job. And if whatever that number is, and if they're going to, I guess, add to our culture and need to help improve us, and help us build, then yeah, there's a seat at the table. And I guess it really comes back to just having an understanding of where what our expectations are, and then what their person's expectations are. And if they align, then I think we're off to a good start.
How has the job changed? You've been doing it for 26 years. It's about from when you first started to now.
Oh my word, where do I start? We talked in our last show about the buyer agreement. So that was a huge change for our industry. Todd and Craig were incredible with keeping us up to date on what was going to happen and how we should proceed and all that, because it was a process. It wasn't just, here's a buyer agreement and just go. But like with technology, when I first started, we would have 4 copies of purchase and sale, and we'd have to go around to everyone to have sign in the car. and everyone had to get their own copy, a fully executed copy and purchase and sale. Now we're, doing deposit link. We're not dropping off checks anymore. It's coming through. So, it, you know, it has changed a lot, but the people aspect of it has not. I mean, that's never going to change. And that's why realtors aren't going to change, because people want that human touch. It's an emotional time when you're buying. We know that because we've been through it. When you're buying or selling a home, it's very scary. If you haven't done it in a long time, you need somebody to talk it through. And so, that's where we come in as realtors. And that part has not changed, and it never will.
Mari talked about the changes, Todd. From your perspective as president of the Cape and Island Association of Realtors, what do you think, and this may be an obvious question with an obvious answer, what do you think have been some of the biggest changes in the industry? Maybe people out there aren't unaware of, and they're thinking about, buying a home or selling a home, and they meet with a realtor and they're told something and they go, what? That's not how I did it 20 years ago, or that's not what my father told me how this worked.
Right. No, I mean, I think our association did a really great job. As August 17th was the date that practice changed for realtors, and was required to have a buyer agreement before you court a home. And so I think it's yes, if you hadn't purchased a home in a long time, it was totally a new concept. But again, the messaging and the education of our body of realtors, I think, was really important for the transition, even at the state level, because they were providing a lot of guidance with the new forms. I recently sat in the forms committee and have some input, and there's a lot more, I think, clarity for the consumer process than it may have been before, or there were parts that they didn't understand, and now they understand it better. So, as realtors, we have to adhere to a code of ethics, and obviously we're accountable to our clients, future obligations, but then also need to stay on top of all the new regulations and laws. So, that all part of that is very important, and I think is our association keeping the membership informed, and also listening to what their needs are is very important, because there's also a whole host of local issues, like on the Cape, between the recharge areas and all those. Not to go down a rabbit hole, if people are hearing about that, how they're getting sewer now. And so these are other topics that our members need to be made aware of. I think we do a good job. That great job. From a public policy standpoint.
Yeah. Actually, the sewer was going to be my next topic, because here on Cape we really have a unique situation with towns finally getting to town sewer, and it's been very interesting. We just worked with a buyer who bought a home from a representative from a sales real estate agent who was from off Cape. And just in the conversation with her about what was going on, I said, did you do this? Did you do that? Do you have this? No, I didn't know. Really? I said, you better make a call. How has that complicated things?
Well, I go back to the Realtor Code of Ethics. You're supposed to be knowledgeable in the marketplace in which you're practicing. So for us, it's machine knowledge refers someone to another agent within the state, so that if we're unaware of what local practice might be there. So I think realtors just have to be careful if they're going to, and they should ask questions about that marketplace to see if there are any local issues that they should be aware of. But I think we're educated and we're asking the right questions. It also can kind of help guide the other to kind of, I think, facilitate the transaction. So you're still able to do a good job for your client at the same time, making sure there's no it's identifying potential issues or obstacles that are coming. So that part of the being a good
And yeah,
being a good realtor.
yeah, and I have to say something to Todd. So because I had modern family in my mind, because he said realtor, and everybody asked, what's the difference between a real estate agent and a realtor? And a realtor has to abide by the code of ethics. So that is your answer, because the Today Show a couple of months ago didn't even know what the difference between a realtor and a real estate agent was. So when you said that, and I just remembered Modern Family when she said, he's a realtor, so just wanted to throw that in.
But talking about, working with an off-Cape agent as opposed to an on-Cape agent, and whether it's a real estate agent or an agent of another company, how important is it, you think, for people to work with on-Cape realtor as opposed to their cousin Vinny's kid from Revere?
Oh, I think it's 100% you should be working with a realtor on Cape, because there are so many. It's a different picture from Boston. I wouldn't go to Boston. I would refer somebody to Boston. I don't know that market. The markets change, and you have to know so much about what's going on in your market. So that's why we're the market experts right now of Cape Cod. Even Wellfleet is a little different, but we stay in tune to that. So Wellfleet is the only town that didn't sign up for the grant for town sewer. So those residents,
If they can moving to Wellfleet, boys,
those residents are going to have to really learn what they need to do for their septics, because from what we're hearing, it's going to be costly. So it's really important to hire somebody that knows your surrounding market. If there's an off-Cape agent coming in, we're happy to give them a referral out and take over, and they can just sit back and do the work. And I do that for off-Cape. I'll call a Today agent there, or if we don't have a Today agent in a certain area, I call any agents I know, and I refer the business out, because I will not be serving my client like I should. So,
and that's not only involves the sewer, but even something that's basically pricing. An on-Cape agent would understand the market more than an off-Cape agent might talk.
I would say so. If they don't have access to Cape and Island MLS, they don't have a full picture of the data.
Right. Explain that. Explain why that's important. 25 words or less, because we've got about 2 minutes.
Okay. Multiple listing service. So that's the database where if you're listing your house, if it sells, it's collected. In Massachusetts, there are several MLSs, and however, the majority of the properties that go to market in Barnstable County are in the Cape and Islands MLS, and that's where you're going to have the most fruitful data.
Yeah. All right. And with that, thank you, Todd.
wow, for being here. That went by fast.
Mari, hey, all right. Thank you. Nice to see you again. I'll see you again next year. Thanks, folks, for watching. This has been How's the Market. We'll see you again next month.